What's up? It's 5 in the morning, so I'm not going to be loud here. So we have a cigar here. We got breaking news. We have Venezuela now being bombed by Trump. I think this was like 12 hours ago. I believe they have the same time time zone as us, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, I think it was like 12 hours ago. I just found out and the United States illegally, I got to tell you that right up front, illegally launched bombs against Venezuela. Um, for how it works in law is, and I'm not even a lawyer, I can just do this on my basic history book, is the Congress has to approve or disapprove of declaring war on countries. I learned this shit in third grade, and there's certain clauses where you can use executive order to launch limited strikes on countries. It's a national security act or something. It's something for national security just after 9/11, where basically gave the federal government a blank check to basically invade other countries without getting congressional approval because they know that Congress would not approve of that. So Venezuela does not even have a military, or at least if they do have one, it's not very good. We have the number one military in the world. We're, we're literally attacking countries that pose no threat to the United States. That's right. We're bombing and killing people from countries that pose no threat to the United States or its allies. And what's the key takeaway that we know about Venezuela before all this happened? And I already knew this before the launch even took place. I can read this guy a mile away. Guess what country has the number one oil reserves? Oh, Venezuela. It's not about the oil though, huh? Okay. And then what? He literally openly said he was going to sell their oil, and the United States is going to temporarily take over Venezuela. That's illegal. That's illegal. Where's the United Nations? Oh, the United Nations doesn't do shit without the United States, right? Because if we did the same shit that if other countries did the same shit that we did to all the people around us, we wouldn't exist as a country. Like this is the antithesis of what this country was founded on. It was founded on breaking away from kings, breaking away from all-out wars all the time. And what has this country been since the inception of this country? This country's constantly at war because it has its own economy set towards the defense contracting companies in this country, and it's all about war. So if we stop going to war, we'd stop innovating, we'd stop having jobs, people would lose jobs, right? And think about that. This this pitiful country is founded on war. If we're not constantly at war, our economy will not run because that's how it works. Because that's how they structured our economy is based on war, not resources, not goods and services, war. Fucking war. It's fucking war. Like the next closest country to us is what? Russia or China for military spending, and I think it's like 130 to 180 billion. Does anybody want to guess how much we have for the budget for I think last year? $1.5 trillion for this current year for our military, or maybe for next year. I forget which. $1.5 trillion. The second country in the world has like 130 to 180 billion dollars in defense spending, and I think it's Russia or China, one or the other. So we're the heroes, and everybody else is the villains. No, no, you've been wrong since Vietnam. You've literally been on the wrong side of history, United States, since Vietnam. Literally. If capitalism is so great, why do we have to invade every country that doesn't abide by our way of living. Why? If capitalism is so great, then why do you got to invade and have 750 military bases all around the world? Right? If capitalism is so great, why do you got to do that? Wouldn't you be able to win off your ideology and in the fruits of your labor? It's a scam. This is late stage capitalism. And this is just a smokescreen because this guy should be indicted for war crimes, be indicted for being a fredophile, and he's got dementia. What was it? What was it? A couple of months ago, he was away for like 6 days in a row. Didn't tweet, didn't do nothing, completely out of the spotlight. Like that's not like him. And then he had bruising and IVs, you know, by his on his wrists and shit. Come on. And they want to talk about Joe Biden. You guys want to talk about Joe Biden? This guy's literally slurring his words constantly. Like, I literally just listened to a speech on Venezuela and he's slurring his words. What do they got on Joe Biden? Oh, he zones out. Okay. Right? I mean, it is probably because of old age, but it's like, who cares? But anyways, though, so when this bombing took place, to get back on track here, when this bombing took place, the Chinese officials from the Chinese government, the People's Republic of China, was in the capital of Venezuela, Caracas, visiting with Maduro. So if you would have bombed another head of state, you know what the fuck that would mean? A fucking world war. A world fucking war with the most people in the world for that country, China. You know what our population size is? 340 million, give or take, approximately. You want to know, and I even knew this way back when I was in high school. You don't want to know what the population of China is, motherfucker? 1.33 billion people. Go ahead. Start a war with them. Let's see who wins. When it comes to military numbers, I'm not talking about quality of equipment. I'm talking about numbers. They're just going to keep giving you human waves of people and just, they're going to get you on numbers like the Russians did with Germany in World War II. Like, I called this out before the election. I was like, this guy's not a fucking peace guy. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. The people that vote for him, you are just as guilty as this guy. Because it's the land of the dumb. It's the land of the dumb. And it's not a difference of opinion. I can debunk all the shit he says. All of his supporters say it's all bullshit. They don't know anything about immigration law. You have to have courts and trials and a process. You can't just deport people. It doesn't work like that. Right? Unless there's a certain specific act that you can point to as a lawyer, which they don't. All this shit is illegal. They don't know shit. But this is not the country that I grew up in. Americans deserve better than this shit. This is a joke. In this country, our people still don't even have child care. People can't afford to take their kid to the babysitter, because it's just too expensive, even with insurance, with or without insurance. Good luck if you don't have insurance in this country. Everything's for profit. Everything is basically tied to your job. So if you don't like your job, you're fucked, and you get no health care. So basically, if you're an American, you die. But we can't change anything because communism, socialism, and the people around you believe that. But meanwhile, in the 1960s, they had pensions, they had unions, they had all that shit. Left-wing ideas, those were socialist ideas done by socialism. Unions, pensions, that was a socialist idea, right? But they don't experience that now because now it's all gone. Or most of it is gone. The power of unions is almost gone, depending on what union you have. So basically, they took the good parts and then they left when it started to go downhill, and no fault through their own, but they don't realize that. And then it breeds the intergenerational, animosity towards each other of young and old people. And it's like, no, it was a different time, but you also had people being held to the fire. In this day and age, nobody holds politicians to the fire. Nobody calls it out. Nobody says anything like, this is fucked up. This is fucked up that in the richest country in the world, we have a $1.5 trillion defense budget, but I can drive on roads that have potholes the size of my fucking head or bigger. I mean, I got people around me, my neighbors that have fucking kids. A lot of these people can't fucking afford to fucking go and get childcare because it's too fucking expensive. What is it? Hundreds of dollars per kid for one day or a week? I don't know how much it is, but it's not feasible. This country is not fucking feasible. The only country that's similar to the United States as far as culture goes, that actually takes care of its people, and I'm not saying that they're perfect. About 80 miles away up north, Canada. I think about it every day. Because our people deserve better. They deserve health care. This country doesn't give you health care, you're fucked. We literally had to go against Republicans that wanted to keep private health insurance and people that if you didn't have a job or you were too disabled to work where you couldn't get health insurance. And they called that socialist. And they watered down that policy to cater to Republicans, and they call that socialism. This is what these people vote against. So when you vote against Democrats, and I'm not saying that they're perfect, because I know they have corruption. That's why I'm a progressive and we primary their ass. When you vote against Democrats, you're just hurting yourself. There is not one good thing about Republicans. Literally nothing. There's nothing about unions, increasing union membership, increasing wages, tackling the climate. Nope. It's just brown people scary. Change is scary. Let's go back to relying on fossil fuel, and let's not innovate for solar power and solar energy. So basically, all that stuff is still going to be expensive when this guy leaves office because they didn't innovate now, which they did under Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So because they're not innovating now, so when a Democrat takes office and they start putting more money into green energy, like all this shit is going to be super expensive still. And then they're going to say, oh, but the Democrats had all this time. You guys gutted all the money for that and put subsidies back for the fossil fuel industry, which they don't need it because fossil fuel is dying in the next 50 to 60 years, right? They're literally backing a dying energy source. Like, that's how stupid they are. That's how stupid they are. Like, you can't be Christian and vote Republican. That's a conundrum. You cannot be a Christian and vote Republican. Because Jesus Christ was a socialist. He split bread and fish to hundreds and thousands of people that were hungry, and he did it. Do I think it's real? Do I think he's real? I don't know. But that's what basically the quote says. I don't know the exact quote. I don't know. I don't study theology, but that's basically what he did. So all the you know what it is? If you ever deal with a Christian, you need to say, are you a true Christian, or do you like Jesus, or do you just like Republican Jesus? Ask him that. Ask him that. Because they always got a thing against poor people and brown people. And poor white people. They never want to bring up those people. They don't want to tax the rich. They say that's socialism and communism. It's done in other countries, and there's people that are still rich. The rich don't flee those countries. Very few of them, if any, flee them countries because there's so much innovation going on. They're behind the times. So if you're a Republican in 2025, well, excuse me, 2026 now. I forgot it's the new year. Pardon me. If you're a Republican in 2026, you're either hateful, you self-loathe yourself, or you don't want to fucking actually help people around you. Even that people that don't like me. I don't care that people don't like me around me. I don't care. Because it's about helping them. That's how I think. And that's the goodness of the American people. Like, the American people are a generous people. you know? But it's like there's not that much that separates us. But they like to complicate it, and it's like, do you think rich people should get taxed more? And if the answer is anything but no, well, I can't help you. If you make more, you should get taxed more. It works with me. It works with other people around me that have jobs. If you make more money, you have more overtime, you get taxed more. It's the same way applied to the wealthy too. They're not exempt. But there's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Republican just says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We're going to rip you off of food stamps. And if you guys want to get food stamps and you're working a job and two jobs and you have kids and you're a divorced single mom, you're fucked. Or if you're a divorced single dad, you're fucked. You're fucked in the richest country in the world. And like I said, to close out, I mean, what are the receipts of the richest country in the world living in America versus going to Canada? Like there's no receipts, there's no incentive of being in the richest country in the world when you have other countries that provide and care for their people more, and they have less of a money pool than the United States to choose from, and they can still do all of it, including France, Germany, Poland, Sweden, Canada, Germany, all these countries, Portugal, Spain, all of them. They can all do it. And they have less money than the United States. So you can't tell me that the United States can't do it or they'd run out of money. Nope. No. See, the difference between a Republican and a Democrat is Republicans don't care about people that have different backgrounds than them. They don't care. Democrats, on the other hand, know that there's people that have different backgrounds, and I can, like, all the people around me, I'll be like, these people should have a better life too, not just me, and they have a different way of thinking. They think it's more individuality than class behavior. But that's why we're in the predicament that we're in. That's why we elected a billionaire twice, and he lowered taxes on the rich twice in both of his tax plans in both terms. And the income inequality has actually skyrocketed even more. It used to be 1 in every 3 Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. Now it's 2 out of every 3 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. It wouldn't be because we're lowering taxes on the wealthy and increasing your taxes to offset those costs. Nope. But yeah, that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Peace.